Time for that debate, dialogue between two gentlemen, one from incumbent party, NPP, the other from NDC. The challenges, they have differences of how things should be run. Between the NDC and NPP, who has the best ideas to lead Ghana? Current President Nana Akufo Addo, should he get 4 more years? Does he deserve 4 more years in office? That's the topic for this dialogue/debate between Alhaji Haruna Rashid. Alhaji Haruna Rashid, he's the director for research, director of research for NDC, National Democratic Congress, nationally in Ghana. And that makes him an executive of that party. And on the NPP side, we have Alhaji Maazu Muftau. He's the communication director for NPP New York. These two gentlemen, they're about to go at it intellectually on Kibla FM. So call your brothers and your sisters and let them know we're live. We're live on Kibla FM, and the game is about to start. Intellectual game of intelligence. So get ready. Grab a piece of paper, pick up a pen, and take a note, because whatever that they say today would be a part of the record. It's going to be a part of the record. Come election day, you have the time to think before election day to decide on who has the best policy and who's better prepared to lead Ghana. Should Nana Akufo Addo get 4 more years? I'll say hello and welcome to Kibla FM to NDC National Researcher Alhaji Haruna Rashid on Kibla FM. Welcome, Alhaji.
Thank you very much, Fuad. And I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings of blessings and peace to you and all the listeners today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And then we say also welcome to Kibla FM to NPP Communication Director, New York, Alhaji Maazu Muftau. Welcome to Kibla FM, sir.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Fuad.
Thank you. We're glad to have the two of you on air, and the world is ready to listen. We're talking knowledge. These two gentlemen, highly intellectual. Well, you know, they're familiar with the issues. Okay, they're insiders in their camps. So on the NDC camp, this gentleman, he's a national executive, and he is the national researcher for the National Democratic Congress. And Alhaji Maazu, he's also the director of communication NPP New York. So log on to our website, kiblafm.com, and grab the details so you can become a part of this presentation. The NPP gentleman will start because he's got a seat. He's part of the incumbent party. So he's going to start. 4 topics: economy, education, healthcare. These two policies, who has it the best? Economy, education, healthcare, and foreign relation. Nana Akufo Addo, does he have a better proposal or policies relating to all these sectors, better than what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has? So His Excellency Nana Akufo Addo and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has a better policy when it comes to economy, education, healthcare, foreign relation? That's it. But the main point, though, if Nana Akufo Addo has it, then a lot of people will say he deserves 4 more years. So Alhaji Maazu Muftau is going to be the one arguing for the NPP on whether they have the best policy when it comes to economy, education, healthcare, and foreign relations. So without further delay, I'll say Alhaji Maazu Muftau, Communication Director, NPP New York, take it over. You have 20 minutes to deliver on these questions. Economy, education, healthcare, foreign relation. Who has it better? Tell the world why Nana Akufo Addo has the better policy. And after that, we're going to hear from Alhaji Haruna Rashid from the NDC side. So without further delay, go ahead. You got 20 minutes.
Thank you so much. Allahumma rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوق. I humbly salute you with the driving force propelling the slogan of Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Mr. Forward, I greet you with the best of greeting, and you and your listeners, those who are following us on Facebook and those who are on Twitter and other network. Like I said earlier on, Alhaji Haruna Rashid is a senior brother. We have had a lot of political discussions every now and then, both in public and in private. We discuss a lot of salient issues that has to do with the way Zango people have to be uplifted, devoid of NDC and NPP acrimony. But today, our topic for discussion calls for us to hit our horns together and what really differentiates the NDC and NPP. I will humbly call upon my senior brother and other contributors to this program. Together, we should avoid a provocative vocabulary that can cause an irreparable damage on the image of our own political parties. So with this, having established the parameters that we are going to speak on, I will start with the economy. Mr. Fawaz, you have made a point about the fact that whether our policy or the policy of the NDC is best. I stand here to say that when it comes to policy issue on the way the economy of Ghana is managed, I think NPP is second to none. We have demonstrated amply based on our records, based on our first regime of the NPP that is headed by President Kufuor, and today under the leadership of Nana Akufo Addo. I must first of all begin by saying that the NPP inherited an economy which was in a very coma, and we needed rapid and vigorous resuscitation of the situation. This assertion is backed by the CDD report on why the NDC lost the 2016 general election. Mr. Forward, it is on record that an influential member of the NDC and a former minister for local government, Mr. Kwamna Ahoy, admitted that the party lost the general election because of poor economic performance and poor economic records. The NPP came into governance simply because there was a dwindling lack of confidence with regards to the way NDC was managing the economy. Now, I can go further by substantiating this within this, taking into consideration certain indicators. You and I are acutely aware of the fact that in order to understand the basic principle of economy, there are two fundamental issues that need to be taken into consideration. One of them is micro and the macroeconomic indicators. Under the macroeconomic indicators, we have what we call inflation. Today, as I speak, NPP inherited unimaginable inflation figure in the history of Ghana. Since independence, we have not had a party that has left an appalling history of inflation than what NDC has left for NPP. We inherited 15.4% of inflation under the regime of NDC. When we took over, we needed to adopt prudent methods of solving this problem. What do we do? Through a prudent policy alternative, we were able to bring inflation down to a single digit. Today, as I speak to you today, inflation is at 9.1% against 15.4% that NDC left behind. When you come to interest rate depreciation under the NDC between 2012 2016, they left behind 61%, but the NPP brought it down to only 16%. The ability of an individual to be able to perform very well in the economic situation of every country depends on loan As you know, in our part of the country, a lot of people are found in the informal sector. So they need banks and other lending institutions to give them loan. NPP inherited an appalling bank lending rate. NDC left 32% for NPP. We came in and we were able to bring banking, what is it? Bank lending rate to 27%. This is because we have prominent people who know how to manage the economy. You can bring an accountant as a minister for finance. This was what the NDC did. You can bring people who are technically bankrupt and lack ideas to run the country very well, and you expect a good result. Because of inaptitude, incompetence, and technical bankrupt nature of the managers of the economy under the NDC, Ghana found itself under the auspices of the IMF. The result of this IMF policy was that IMF slapped Ghana with a freeze on public sector employment. Mr. Fawaz, when we say if there was a freeze on public sector employment, what do they mean? We mean that IMF was directing how we can employ people into our formal and informal sector. And this is not the best. Under the NPP changed the affairs of Ghana. We adopted prudent microeconomy policy, and that has freed Ghana from the bondage of the IMF policy. We lifted the ban on public sector recruitment and eventually succeeded in employing well over 35,000 people working in various capacities at the public sector of our economy. Mr. Fawaz, still under the economy, the good policy of the government under the NPP crystallized one district, one factory. You know the resultant? We are able to employ 10,603. We created 10,603 jobs under that policy. As I speak to you now, you can Google and find it under City Business News. Out of that, 181 projects are at the various stages of completion. So, Mr. Fawaz, when it comes to the proper management of the economy, NPP, I still maintain that we are second to none and we are one of the best in the history of Ghana. As I speak to you now, Ghana is rated as one of the best growing economies in West Africa, or in for that matter, Africa. How can you bring a buoyant and resilient economy that was handed over by the NDC when we were in power between 2008 to 2008 under the regime of His Excellency President Kufuor? Ghana was able to attain a middle income status. But immediately NPP lost the election and gave a mandate to NDC, we are now experiencing a very bad management. And thanks to the emergence of Ghanaians, they were able to vote the NDC out and brought us. Today, as we speak, Ghana is one of the best economic development countries in Sub-Saharan West Africa. You remember, under the regime of the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, my own brother, Ghana experienced 4 years of excruciating and systematic doomsday. And even under the doomsday regime by JM, the cumulative increase of electricity was 226.2%. Even under doomsday, NPP was able to bring it down under the net accumulative reduction of electricity to only 63% for residential, and then 18.8% for non-residential. I want Alaji Halid Rashid, who is the research officer of the party, to argue contrary on what I am saying. Now, Ghana economy has expanded in 2019 and has become one of the fastest growing economy in Africa with an estimated growth of 6.7% as against 5.4% that we inherited under the regime of the NDC. Today, Ghana is experiencing a very affordable trading conditions, doing extremely well in our main exports, that is oil, cocoa, and gold. We are performing extremely well, Mr. Fawad. I want Alaji to argue on contrary to what I am telling you today. This gives us an annual domestic product of 2.8% because of the resilient and the knowledgeable people that Ghana has entrusted under the care of the NPP. Indeed, we have also been able to reduce import duties by 50%, which was increased by NDC. Immediately we took over, Mr. Fawad, we were able to reduce import duty by 50%. We have created jobs for Ghanaian youth. Today, the story of Graduate Unemployment Association of Ghana has become history, only to be remembered whenever the name of JM is mentioned, and NDC as a political party. NPP, we are able to restore the teacher training allowances, which John Dramani Mahama and the NDC say they better lose the election than to restore a teaching allowances for teacher training. And you know why the teacher training allowances was introduced. This was done to attract and magnetize people into the teaching profession. You know, remember, worldwide, teaching is one of the jobs that they regard as for downtrodden. So people were very reluctant in getting into the teaching profession. So Nkrumah introduced how can we attract and magnetize people into the job? So he instituted at least some fees, some token for teacher trainees. I benefited someone I was under my teacher training at Atibobu Teacher Training College. I took a lot of them from level 100 up to the time we graduated. I was having allowances, but NDC came and abrogated these allowances. When they were asked to store it, they said they better lose the election. They lost the election, and Alaji is now to tell me that they can do better. What is happening to what we call the nurses training sources? It was also abrogated under the NDC. When we came back, we restored it. Today, as we speak in Mr. Fawad, we are having 58 factories that are completed under the industrialization policy of the NPP. German automobile company, they are also in Ghana assembling vehicles. The Nissan company of Japan has equally shown an interest in investing into the country due to the stable microeconomy that we have put in place. After having established this under the economy, let me quickly shift back to the health sector. Mr. Fawad, if NDC mentioned their record in health sector, it is something that, I mean, it looks as if an individual should even cry. The name Cash and Carry became a household under the leadership of the NDC. The name Cash and Carry, nobody knew about what Cash and Carry means, but it became a household name under the leadership of the NDC, sorry. When we took over power from 2000, we said, listen, the health of the people are related to how productive they are when it comes to the economic activities. We said no. Ghanaians are not believing under such situation. We introduced what we call the National Health Insurance Card. When that policy was laid before Parliament, as Alhaji Rashid, members of the NDC boycotted that policy program and abandoned Parliament. So fortunately, we have the majority number, and then we voted and passed the bill. Today, health insurance has become one of the viable pro-poor policy that is helping everybody, including myself and Alhaji Rashid. And you, for what, if you have family back home. When John Atamis took over, the health insurance that was introduced and administered under the NPP totally collapsed. People will have to wait for so many months, so many years before they are able to renew their health insurance card. But you know what happened? When NPP took over, we introduced a very simple policy that will allow everybody. You don't have to even walk to the center to renew your health insurance. You only have to sit at the comfort of your room and renew it through your phone mobile. This is the work of a competent manager of the economy. When we came in, we realized that people were dying. For a population of well over closely getting to 30 million, NDC left only 42 ambulances. Today, as I speak to you, we ordered 98 ambulances are in Ghana, and today current affairs that I'm telling you, about 179 ambulances have arrived in Ghana. They are at the port of Clarence. Mr. Fawad, Ghana is really rated as a beacon of democracy. And the introduction of what we call the medical drone. The medical drone is one of the best of its kind, second to Kenya. So these and many more are what the NPP is doing under the leadership of Nana Akufo Addo and Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. We have constructed so many health centers, and the cheap compound that were initiated under them were abandoned. Today, they are in proper shape. In order not to be able to, in order not for time to beat me, let me quickly migrate from the health and come back to education. Mr. Boas, what exactly is the NDC and Alaji talking about when it comes to the policy of education? What have they done to our country? What exactly have they done? Today, as we speak, there is a rapid expansion of infrastructure facility at various institutions, including the universities. In order to give proper education to the people of Zongo, we have recruited more than 10,000 Arabic instructors teaching at various schools. Payment of teachers, accumulated areas that was left behind by JM administration under the NDC, we have cleared them. You see, sometimes when we talk about the policy of free education, for us, what people don't know is that they think it is a policy that NPP is a brainchild of NPP. No, the policy of free education is a brainchild of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. It is a constitutional injection. Under Article 42 of the Constitution, the promulgators and framers of the Constitution thought it was to bring the issue of free education into it. But you see, bad governments didn't have what they call political spirit to implement it because they didn't want to read it. No, Addo came in and said, listen, it is about time we give that constitutional instrument a meaning by introducing the free concept of education. Today, as we speak it has increased enrollment in our secondary schools. And government of Ghana, as I speak has absorbed all the SSS wire payment fees. We are going to pay it. We have made that promise and we are fulfilling that promise. Mr. Fawaz, you see, sometimes when we talk about prudent use of the country resources, NDC want to argue in contrary. I want him to tell me what was the figure of inflation before NDC left power. He should be in better position to tell me that. He should be in better position to tell me what was the rate of interest rate. What was the rate of banking rate before they left power? Employment opportunity in order to boost up the economy. The NPP has introduced the NABCO, the National Builder Corps, that has become a substitute to Graduate Unemployment Association of Ghana. Today, as we speak we don't even hear of that name again. 5 million people are renewing their health insurance on a daily basis. So, and besides that, let me quickly jump into the international relationship issue that you have talked about. Mr. Fawaz and Alaji Rashid, This is a field, an area that the NDC cannot really match at. With due respect and due apology, I don't think there's anybody in NDC that can match Nana, the figure called Nana Addo when it comes to international relationship. But then let me take you back before Nana even became the president of this republic. In 2006, when Nana was the foreign minister of Ghana, in the history of our country from 1957 up to date, we never had an opportunity to chair the UN Security Council. The first Ghanaian who sat at the UN Security Council was the first foreign minister under Nkrumah. The second individual was Nana when he was a foreign minister of Ghana. This is on record. When Nana chaired the Security Council of United States, in fact, Ghanaians and Ghana felt very, very proud. And today, as I speak to you, because of the prudent policies of the NPP, we have brought in what we call the year of return. And for us, you will agree with me if you don't know. I am telling you, this year alone, Ghana is able to generate 1.9 billion US dollar from the process of people who are trooping into Ghana for the end of year return. As I speak to you, the US consulate in New York here were able to register well over 7 million people who are ready to go to Ghana. Every single day, they give more than 700 visas to people. This is as a result of the buoyant and good public relationship that we have in Ghana. Mr. Fawad, just recently, was it less than a week ago, I was reading the news. When the world sat down under the British newspaper, they sat down to look at people who are very influential in the world affairs. Nana Addo was among 3 prominent African leaders who were captured. You remember, France's president came to Togo, he went to Benin, he went to Niger, met their president. He spoke with due respect arrogantly to this president. When he came to Ghana, Nana Addo didn't allow him. He was speaking, Nana was speaking, and French president was clapping his hand. This is due to what? Buoyant and influential policy that Nana Addo was able to, roll out to the world. Today, as we speak, international, whatever, everybody is trying to come to Ghana because we are having a very stable democratic system. The economy is buoyant. Everything is going on well. Multinational corporations can invest because taxes have been reduced. People have the willing to come home and call themselves Ghanaians. They have reduced taxation. Interest rate is down. Inflation rate is down. Clearance at port is down. So basically, we can go on and on and on and on and on. But for the sake of time, I will hand over here and listen to what my brother is also going to say.
Thank you so much to the NPP Communication Director, New York, Alhaji Maazu Muftau. Thanks for your submission. You're listening to Kibla FM. My name is Fuad Omar. Our website, www.kiblafm.com. Log on to that website and grab the phone number so you can become a part of what we're doing here. It's an intellectual debate between 2 competent gentlemen, one from the NDC, the other from the NPP. So the NPP gentleman just submitted. Now we headed over to the national researcher of the NDC, National Democratic Congress, Alhaji Haruna Rashid. Take it over. And I think let's do it 25 minutes. That's about the time that the other parties spent. So go ahead, Alhaji, and deliver on the topic. Economy, education, healthcare, and foreign relations. The world is listening to you on Kibla FM. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Fuad. Good evening, dear respected fellow Ghanaians and Africans in the diaspora. As Fuad has said, my name is Haruna Rashid Ibrahim. I'm the Director of Research for the National Democratic Congress. I thank you sincerely for making the time to join us in the conversation this evening. I come to you this evening to make a proposal and to argue in the affirmative that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama deserves a second chance. A second chance as the President of the Republic of Ghana, our motherland. He has started and completed award-winning projects to the benefits of the ordinary Ghanaian. JM's work focused in uplifting and improving the living conditions and welfare of working families like the Davies, Naayeles, Ifias, Salifus, and Kujus you find in the marketplaces, on construction sites, on trotro buses, in taxis, government and private business offices in Tampa, Ho, Cape Coast, Accra, Kumasi, and other parts of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons why we are here today is, to let you know that what these people have in common is that they are Ghanaians who work hard, put food on the table, and try to take care of their families. They play by the rules, and they are just looking for a break in life. They are our neighbors, and we go to church and the mosque with them. We share a common humanity together. We celebrate marriages, new births, school graduations, and other good things in life. And we commiserate with them when bad news befalls them. And we attend funerals together. We play and eat together from the same pot. We are brothers and sisters. We work hard, and we all need a break in life. That is why our big brother, John Dramani Mahama, wants to come back to complete what he started. He has put us on a path to economic prosperity, but we did not complete the journey. We need him to come back to complete what he started. Yes, mistakes were made along the way, lessons were learned, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC are energized, rejuvenated, enthusiastic to deliver more jobs, open up business opportunities, empower you, provide educational scholarships and opportunities for the youth and women, and to take care of the elderly. I know you have learned your lessons too, without a doubt. See, my brother, not all glitters is gold. I'll pose this simple question to you. Are you better off today than you were 3 years ago? Reflect and ask yourself, are you better off today than you were 3 years ago? 3 years ago. The hype and the propaganda of the NPP and Nana Akufo Addo has left many of us wondering what just happened. How did we get here in just 3 years? The promises to protect the public purse, to create jobs, to protect and serve the people, to provide law and order, not to create a family and friends government, has turned into a nightmare in broad daylight.
Kibla FM.
In essence, what do we have? Kidnappings, shootings, armed robberies, lawlessness, insecurity, corruption with impunity, the opulent lifestyle of appointees, the disrespect for our traditional chiefs, the sheer incompetence and bad implementation of the free SHS policy is alone reason enough to reject Nana Akufo Addo and his gang of 123 ministers. They must not spend one more day in power beyond January 6, 2021. You and I have tried them, and they have failed us for all. They performed way below expectations. In a recent poll, 60% of Ghanaians rejected what they had to offer. When the question was asked, does Nana Akufo Addo need 4 more years? 60% rejected the question. So, brothers and sisters, the case is closed. Nana Akufo Addo does not deserve a single more day to dig us deeper into a hole. His family and friends, led by Ken Ofori-Atta and Gabriel Chireraku, have looted and continue to loot Ghana's treasury. Enough is enough. Now, what we are told is that the debate today, the discussion today is on the economy, it's on health, it's on education and foreign relations. Bottom line is what you need to look at, what do you use to measure the success of any government? How well they are taking care of the most underprivileged among us. How well have they been able to bridge, to close the income gap between the rich and the poor? What type of employment have they been able to provide? Have they created jobs? Okay, and being in a very import-dependent country, what has the foreign exchange rate done? What is the inflation rate? What is the GDP growth? These are issues that we need to look at. Now, they will tell you that they've created jobs, 100,000 NAPO jobs. But those of us who are here on the ground, who talk to people who are actually members of NAPO, will tell you, and the statistics bear out, only 48,000 NAPO personnel have been given jobs at 700 cedis a month. That translates to about $118 a month for a graduate. $118 a month for a graduate. I'm not talking about a week, a month. Okay, and it doesn't even matter what type of experience that they have. And my brother was talking about the teacher and trainee, teacher and nurse trainee allowances. Yes, that has been put back, but the question is, how many are in arrears right now? As I speak to you now, all you have to do is go on Ghana Web and see for yourself. The nurses are on strike because they have not been paid for 8 months. 8 months they have not been paid. Okay? Now, let's go to foreign exchange. On page 10 of the NPP's 2006 manifesto, they said the exchange rate stood at $1.20 pesos to $1 at the end of 2008. This has dramatically depreciated to four to $1. And this is a great lie, because if you look at the IMF, if you go to the IMF website, on that day, it was $3.91. But even if you put that aside, as of today, as we speak today, even if you allow them 4 cedis to $1, as we speak today, Bloomberg reports that $1 is equivalent to 5 cedis and 81 pesos. Where is the economic management? As Dr. Baumia said, when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. And he has been exposed big time. Okay? They would also tell you that the inflation rate is now at 9.1%. I haven't brought it down from 15.4%. No doubt, we have some issues. But let the record show, as we speak right now, the lowest recorded inflation rate ever since 1992 is 6.7 in 2010, when JM, John Dramani Mahama, was the vice president. 6.7%. And we followed that with a 40-month single-digit inflation record. It stands as the longest sustained period of low inflation. You can go check it out. The sources are there. We speak evidence-based. Let's go to fuel prices. The price of petrol, diesel, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas have all gone up. It seems like just about everything has gone up but the height of Nana Akufo Addo. He remains where he is. In 2010, in 2016, when JM left office, petrol was at 3 cities and 8 pesos per gallon, per liter, which translates to 14 cities per gallon. As I speak to you right now, today, petrol and diesel is at 541 or 24 cities and 59 pesos a gallon. That using today's rate of 5.91 to $1, that means a gallon of regular gas, as is well known in the US, is at $4.16. $4.16. And then as fuel cost goes up, so does the cost of transportation and food prices. As we speak now, if you take Trotro from Nima to Accra, it is 2 cities. It used to be 75 pesos. A ball of kenke has now gone up to about 2 cities. Where it has now gone up, the kenke ball has shrunk miserably. You can hardly even, hold it in one hand. My brothers, the issue about this is that the income and equity in Ghana, the rich versus poor, the gap is widening. As I speak to you, 2.4, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, 2.4 million people are living below the World Bank's global poverty line of 1.9 or 10 cities a day. 2.4 million Ghanaians are living in extreme poverty. To make matters worse, here we are again, the tax to GDP ratio in Ghana has increased from 13.7% to 14.1%. What does this mean to you? It means that we are paying more taxes under Nana Akufo Addo. Recall when he told us that he's going to shift us from taxation to production. What he has done is succeeded in adding more and more and more to the taxes. It may interest you to know that common sanitary pads that our sisters and our wives and our mothers use attract a 20% luxury tax. 20% luxury tax. They consider it that it's a luxury to have sanitary pads, and they have charged extra 20% on that. These are facts. You can check it out and then see it for yourself, because they classified it to a luxury item. Now, let me just quickly move on and then mention to you that as I speak to you right now, the communication service tax has gone up from 6% to 9%, 100% increase. What this means is that talking to you on the phone, browsing the internet, and being on social media platforms like WhatsApp is costing more. In other words, the misery index, or what we call here the Ahutre index, which measures the cost of fuel, transportation, electricity, water, food, rent, telephone, data, DSTV, these are all have gone up. And then you would hear them talk about GDP. It is funny, but what good is a GDP as a measure when over 95% of the industries in the country are owned and managed by foreigners? What good is that? By the way, the highest recorded GDP that they have was 8.1% in 2017. This is, anybody who knows economics knows that it takes about a 12 to 24 month period for policies to take effect. So they were riding on the back of the 2016 economic policies of John Dramani Mahama. What happened in 2018? The GDP dropped to 6.3%. And by the way, in their NPP manifesto on page 13, paragraph 4, it says our goal in Alia is to achieve double-digit gross domestic product growth annually for the next 4 years. Have they been able to deliver that? No. The only double-digit GDP growth recorded in Ghana was in 2011 at 17.4% under the Mills and JM administration. And this is, Nana Akufo Addo's administration should have really recorded high GDP because we have brought under them more oil fields with production that has gone from 80,000 barrels a day to about 122 barrels a day. Yet what do we see? Nothing. We don't see anything with it. So my proposal is that perhaps a gross national product, a GNP, which measures the sum total of the services and service products and services produced by the indigents of the country, is a better measure than a GDP. Now, on the question of public debt, it's just unbelievable when you look at the numbers. Okay, in just 3 years, Nana Akufo Addo has increased the debt stock by 85 billion cedis, taking it from 208 billion, taking it from 122 billion at the end of 2016 to 208.6. Okay, and as we speak right now, the IMF has projected it to decrease. Okay, the GDP to the debt to decrease by 2.7 by the close of business, by the close of December 2019. This will bring it to a debt to GDP ratio of 63% from the 60.3% that it is right now. And the reason why you see this drop in GDP ratio is because of the rebasing of the economy. On average, they have added 30.54 billion cedis, 30.5 billion cedis every year. Okay? Now, there are so many statistics here. The ease of doing business has dropped by 4 places. The World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness, Ghana has dropped by 5 places. And, expected on the 116 out of 190 countries. But most importantly, more than anything else, look at the Human Development Index. Ghana's Human Development Index as of 2018 is now at 0.596. This is far below the 0.634 that countries in the medium and human development group are. What this is saying is this. What this means is that this places Ghana at the bottom of the 142nd position when Nana Akufo Addo, as the co-chairman of the Sustainable SDG goals in 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Ghana ranks the lowest in quality of education. This is not NDC statistics. This is not Elijah Haruna statistics. This is statistics reported by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. Ghana placed 76 out of 76 countries. Okay? Now, let's move on to health. I noticed that my good brother tried to stay away from health and he was making some noise about NHIS. Let me ask him, what good is an NHIS when you don't have any hospitals? How many hospitals has Nana Akufo Addo, with all the revenues generated, with all the 85 billion cedis that he accumulated in debt? How many hospitals has he been able to deliver? I'm here to tell you that Ghana, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, okay, has expanded the 400-bed Tamale Teaching Hospital to an 800-bed facility. It completed the 617-bed University of Ghana Medical Center at Legon. It has constructed new emergency department for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And there are so many things I can talk about, but let me just move on to the institutional hospitals. We have commenced and is currently under construction a 500-bed military hospital in Kumasi. Regional hospitals, okay? We have upgraded the Greater Accra Regional Hospital at Reach in Accra, 640 beds. This is the same place that Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States, was taken there to show her what modern medical facilities we have. We have constructed a 250-bed Ashanti Regional Hospital at Sewa. District hospitals, 120-bed district hospitals with an IT integrated system at Dodua, Komina, Abetafi, Garu, Tempani, Kumawu, and Sekendi. Okay, this is the 120-bed district hospitals. When you come to polyclinics, when you come to CHIP compounds, we built 1,200 CHIP compounds. An additional 1,600 were under construction. 5 polyclinics in the Upper West region at Wekao, Babi, Lambusi, Ko, and Han. 5 polytechnics in the northern region, Pandai, Tatale, Janga, Chiriponi, and Karaga. 5 polyclinics in the western region, Wasadunkwa, Bogosu, Nswayem, Mpoho, and Elubo. 5 polyclinics in the Bronga-Hafo region, in Kwanta, Wamfie, Kwatra. Why are all these important? It is important when, in the middle of the night, your 2-year-old daughter wakes up with a toothache, with an earache, knowing that there is a hospital close by that you can take her to. That is where that comes in handy. Okay? Let's move on to the issue about education. Okay?
You've got a
John
minute left.
Dramani Mahama has been able to, provide uniforms, 170,000 uniforms free to students. Okay, and he had raised to the level of tertiary university 38 public colleges of education. Quality education enhanced and new school infrastructure. Okay, and what has our good brother done so far? All we hear is a lot of talk. No, not a single building. When he came to office, they promised 350 new day schools. Not a single one has been built. Okay? Again and again, what you see is botched implementation. Free SHS is a great idea. We support it. But these guys have screwed it up royally. They have not done the right thing. They have screwed everything up. You have bed bugs, children who have died from meningitis. They don't have a good place to stay. There's no good food to eat. Yes, there are always issues when you start a program. Okay? There are always issues when you start a program. But you have to be able to learn lessons and then correct things. Now, on the issue of foreign policy, my good brother Mazu was making all kinds of noise about this and that. Look, bottom line is, I'll be honest with you and tell you that we are both governments, the NPP and the NDC, we are all non-aligned. There isn't much of a difference. The difference is this: is in the approach, is in the temperament, in the way that you see His Excellency John Dramani Mahama carries himself and advocates for issues. It was under the so-called, foreign minister, Nana Akufo Addo, that 44 Ghanaians lost their lives in the Gambia. To this day, not a single penny, nothing has been done. It is under the care of Nana Akufo Addo that you have the Oslo, debacle.
Your time is
where
up.
People were trying to steal the money out of us.
Your time is up.
Okay, what I'm saying now.
Yes, sir.
Give me just 1 second to wrap up.
Okay.
In wrapping up, what I'm saying to you is this: it is not about the noise that you make. It is about the difference that you make in the lives of the people. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has learned his lessons. NDC, we have learned our lessons. We want to come back to finish the work that we started. And inshallah, with your prayers, with you joining us, we can get this thing done so that we can take these people out of here, because all they have done is introduce nepotism. They have introduced corruption, and all kinds of bad things, and have lowered the standing of Ghana in the community of nations. That's not what we want. And that is the reason why Nana Akufo Addo must not be given a single hour after January 6, 2021. And this is also the reason why we need to give His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the chance to come and finish the work he has done. He's one of you. He's your brother. Give him a chance, a second chance, so that he can do the work that he started. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Alhaji Rashid, Alhaji Haruna Rashid Ibrahim, the researcher, national researcher for NDC. Thank you for that delivery. You're listening to Kibla FM. My name is Fuad Omar. Our website, www.kiblafm.com. Log on to that website and grab the details. If you have a question, you're welcome to call in or send in your text message, and these two gentlemen would respond to your questions. www.kiblafm.com. Now let's go back to the NPP Director of Communication, New York, Alhaji Maazu Moftau. Alhaji, take the next 6 minutes and say something. Rebut, because your brother had said a lot, so much. The world is listening to you on Cable FM. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fawad. And listening to Alhaji Haruna Rashid has taught me one lesson, that there's a difference between being a research officer and a communication expert. The mere fact that Haruna Rashid has admitted that mistakes were made under John Dramani Mahama is enough evidence to tell you that we don't need to bring back a person who will keep on apologizing on his mistakes. There's a saying that goes that self-petitiousness is an evidence of defeat. We are defeating the NDC once more. We are going to prove to Ghanaians that they have nothing but to dissipate the public purse. This is a political party that a minister under the watch of John Dramani Mahama used millions of dollars to paint only buses. Is that the kind of people we want to bring back? All the achievement, the so-called achievement that Alhaji Haruna Rashid has mentioned, they were in place when they went through excruciating defeats. The hospitals were there, but the Ghanaians said they don't like you. All right? All what you have mentioned, they were in place, but Ghanaians still say they don't like you. But now quickly, let me even make this correction. Mr. Fawad, my senior brother, alluded to the fact that the current president is operating family and friends. Mr. Fawad, which president in the world has ever operated with his enemy? Fawad, today, given the chance that you become a president of any country in the world, are you going to entrust the destiny of the people that have renewed their mandate in you to somebody that you don't trust? Are you going to give a position to somebody who has clearly demonstrated his enmity to you? You are not going to do that. You are going to pick up people who are very, very close to you and whom you believe that they have worked and they have the knowledge, they have the capacity to work to change the fortunes of the country. He made mention of two people. Look at the assertion he made, Mr. Ford, that he's running family and friends. I was expecting him to chronicle a tall list of people so that we peruse one after the other. But he succeeded in mentioning only two names. The first name he mentioned was Gabi Ochredaku. For what? You and Alhaji Rashid and any other listening audience should tell me what portfolio does Gabi has. Gabi doesn't have any position in government. It's just like me. I am even far better than Gabi when it comes to it, because I am a communication director. What is the work of Gabi? He is a lawyer. He operates the Dankwa Buzia Institute. Is he in government? The answer is big no. Now, the finance minister. The finance minister was a person who was going from door to door, cap in hand, soliciting for funds to run the campaign policy of NPP, year 2008, 2012, and 2016. The finance minister was the first investment banker in our country. So such a person will say he's not competent enough to handle any position. But in any case, he only mentioned two names. I know he will come with different names so that we will peruse through the names and see. The mistake the NDC is doing, my brother Fawad and Alhaji Haruna Rashid, please, I want you to distance yourself from them. Listen to me. You can accuse somebody running a family and friends whenever you get the opportunity. You only mention two names. Is that how we do this? You cannot accuse somebody running friends and family. Given the opportunity to tell Ghanaians and all the listeners worldwide how many people are within the family of Nana Akufo Addo who are in government, you mentioned only two. And unfortunately for you, one is not even holding any ministerial appointment. The mistake the NDC is making is that anybody whose name is either Addo or Akufo, they relate the person to Akufo Addo. So by the logic of NDC, even the former military leader Akufo, who led a coup, was even a family member of Akufo Addo. So this thing, we have to graduate from that. Let me mention certain names to you, and Alhaji Haruna Rashid should take note of those names, and we see whether they are members or friends of Akufo Addo. Number one, we have prominent Zangorians who are captured under the ministerial appointment of Addo Dankwa. Today, I stand here to indicate that they are neither friends, they are neither family members nor friends, but they are good people with good standing in the political affairs of our country and have accomplished an enviable and credible educational background for themselves. One, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, who was the former Minister for Information and well over 10 years as a spokesperson for the president. Tell me whether such a person is a member of Akufo Addo. We have Abu Bakr Sadiq Boniface, who is now working at the office of the vice president. Tell me he's also a member of Akufo Addo family. We have Muhammad Awal, who is Minister for Business Affairs. Tell me he's equally a member of Akufo Addo family. We have Muhammad Aminu Anta, who is a Deputy Minister for Energy. I want to believe that Muhammad Amin Anta is equally a family member of Akufo Addo. We have Muhammad Habib Tijani, a Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs. Tell me he is a member of Akufo Addo. We have Alassane Tampuli, a very young man. I am older than him, who is the chairman of the National Petroleum Authority. I want to believe that he's also a family member of Akufo Addo. We have Anthony Efaiba Kabo, who is a Deputy Minister for Trade, transportation. I want to believe that he is equally a member of Akufo Addo family. We have Kofi Ada, MP for Navrongo. I want to also believe that he's also a family member of Akufo Addo. Paulina Abajige. Listen, we can go on and on and on and on. The issue is that Mr. Fawaz, the NDC doesn't have any point. Now, I was listening to him when he was trying to make mockery of the whole idea. Unfortunately, he ended up bringing himself into the net. This is a political party that tax everything, including condom. Mr. Fawaz, we are in Ghana when NDC was taxing condom and cutlasses. You and I, whose parents are peasant farmers, cutlasses were taxed under the NDC. Condoms were taxed under the NDC. Kayayo, who migrated from northern part of the country, came down to Accra to do business. They were taxed. We abolished it. Under the regime of JM, agriculture grew at 0.0%. Fifi Kwate, who was given appointment as a minister for agriculture, took Ghana to a negative growth. Today, as we speak, Ghana has the capacity to export food in our neighboring country through the prudent policy of planting for food and job, which has recruited well over 10,608 people working in different capacity. So what basically is Alaji talking about? They have nothing to offer. I go on to mention that when we are talking about the NDC should be able to mention one social intervention policy that they have implemented and Ghanaians are benefit from it and will continue to remember them, like what we did under the health insurance. Alaji Haruna Rashid, Mr. Fawad, look at what he mentioned. He mentioned that they gave out a school uniform. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We want you to give us a project, tangible social intervention policy. We have introduced the infant mortality rate. Whenever a pregnant woman goes to the hospital, she doesn't pay. We did that. Tell me something tangible. You are mentioning school uniform. Mister, JM went to a foreign meeting. He made mention about his credential. He went to foreign meeting. Instead of reading Mr. Fawad, he lost all the paper. It was a big embarrassment, not only to JM, but to Ghana as a country.
Your time is up.
To all Ghanaians as a country.
Thank you so much to the communication director.
When you tell me it's time, I will stop.
Yes, your time is up. Thank you to communication director of the NPP, New York, Alhaji Maazu Muftau. Thank you for that submission. You're listening to Kibla FM. My name is Fuad Omar. Our website, www.kiblafm.com. Log on to that site, grab the details and the phone number so you can call in and bring in your question. If you have something to say, just call in and these two wonderful gentlemen will answer the question. Now we're headed back to the NDC Director of Research, Alhaji Haruna Rashid. Alhaji Haruna Rashid, I'd like you to take the next 6 minutes. 6 minutes and say something, because he'd said a lot. So go ahead and respond. From there, we're going to bring in the callers. We're going to go to the phone lines and bring in the first caller. Go ahead, Alhaji Haruna. We cannot hear you, Alhaji Haruna. Reposition yourself. I think you're on mute. If you can, I'm good. Good. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity again. You see, the governance of a country, there's a huge difference about running a campaign and making all kinds of promises versus actually running a country. And those of you who have followed the elections in 2016, okay, and have lived through the nightmare of 2017, 2018, and 2019, know what it is that I'm talking about. It is not about, loud voices and making unsubstantiated statements and mentioning names, and it just so happens to be, Muslim names. I have it right in front of me. I can name 51 people in Nana Akufo Addo's friends and family. And you can say the argument that, yes, you're not going to employ your enemies. But are Nana Akufo Addo's families the only most qualified people in Ghana for them to be able to take up such positions? Is Nana Akufo Addo the executive secretary to the president, his mother, his father, his brother, his sister? Are they the only qualified Ghanaians to be taking up those positions? Nana Akufo Addo, you know, I mean, what are we talking about? And you know, Nana comes out and tells us that he's incorruptible. He's incorruptible. But you know, guess what? If you sit around in an area where bad things are happening and you sit around and you look at it and you act like you don't see it, you are an enabler. If you sit in a crack house, if you sit in a crack house and you make the point that, oh, I'm not selling crack, I'm not smoking crack, so therefore I'm not a crack addict, and you can't hold me as a crack, but you see it happening and you don't stop it and you know it's a bad thing, what are you? You are an enabler. You enable those around you to commit those crimes. And who pays for these crimes? You and I, the poor, the people who have accidents on the road, the potholes, the electricity that we are now in due for as I speak to you, the PDS, 22 billion cities of our Ghana, of Ghana's assets, strategic assets, you know, put together by whom? Thriller in Manila. And everything goes back to Bumpty. Yes, Bumpty is not in office. Okay? Yes, Ochiridaku is not in office. But Kenokuriata is in there. Ayesu is in there. These are all people who have their hands soiled. And from everything, all indications, Nana Akufo Addo, nothing happens without his say-so. What happens? He goes to Russia and falls asleep. And you talk about embarrassment? SubhanAllah. You talk about embarrassment? What is more embarrassing than being in the front row in Sochi and sleeping? What is more embarrassing than that? Come on, let's get real. This is not about, for me, yes, it is about politics, but more importantly, it's about taking care of putting Ghana first, making sure that you and I, having come from underprivileged communities, I come from Nima. That's where I grew up in. By the grace of God, I've had a chance to go to the US and get training, go to school and all of that. But what about those who have not had those opportunities? That is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is coming to do for all of us, not just a few, not just from those from Chevy. He is here coming to open up the opportunity for all of us, educational opportunities, business opportunities, scholarships for the youth. 72% of the electorate, registered electors, registered voters are ages between 18 and 40 years old. 51% of registered voters in Ghana are women. These are the people that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is coming back to help, to give them an opportunity. And what good is, economic growth if it does not reflect in people's pocket? Go down to Nima, go down to Malacca, go down to Rollins Park and ask people. Taxi drivers have parked their cars because they cannot afford the cost of fuel. People cannot get 3 square meals a day. 2.4 million people are under extreme poverty. I am not saying that. Ghana Statistical Services is saying that, backed by World Bank report.
Yeah, 1 minute.
So what is it that we're talking about? that Nana Akufo Addo is doing what? What is he doing? Give him 4 years to come back and do what? Did it get deeper into the hole? Subhanallah. No, that's not what we want. What we want is to have a tried and tested someone, yes, who was big enough to who was big enough to say that, yes, look, I could have done this better. And there are ways that I can make improvements.
Thank you.
As in Hausa, they say, none of us is perfect. But he has realized where he can make things better. And I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, my dear brothers and sisters, give His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a second chance to come and build on what he has started. And do not, please, for Allah's sake, do not give Nana Akufo Addo and his gang of 123 ministers another chance so that they can come and throw in our faces the opulent lifestyles that they are living, where they go on aircraft and show us what kind of big life that they're living. That's not what we want. We want the simple life. People want a break in life, and that is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is coming back to do. And we ask you, we implore you, we urge you, we beg you to give him a chance to come and complete what he has done. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Alhaji Haruna Idris, Alhaji Haruna Rashid, the director for communication. No, not communication, actually research, NDC. He's the national director of research for the National Democratic Congress, NDC. We say thank you for that submission. Phone lines are open, so if you're listening to Kibla FM and you have a question, you can call in, and these two wonderful gentlemen will answer your question. So we're going straight to the phone line to bring in the first caller. Hello, your name and where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Abdurrahman. I'm calling from South Africa.
All right, brother Abdurrahman, you're live in Kibla FM. What do you have for question?
Yes, Brother. I have a comment and a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to do this.
Oh, okay, all right. Brofad, okay, I know the standard has fallen as far as the NDC is concerned, but I was expecting Brother Rashid to at least lift the bar, and stick to the issue. But so far, he's been parroting all night. He has not said anything substantial.
Who has been doing that?
What I want to ask, he's been parroting all night.
Who? Brother, okay, go ahead. He's listening to you. Boy, you're breaking, caller. You're breaking. Position properly. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Boy,
okay, can you hear me?
That caller has been breaking. Please reposition. Reposition and call back. I think he's back in. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
All right.
We cannot hear you. We can barely.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, you're breaking again. You're breaking. Go ahead.
Let me reposition. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, is it okay?
All
right,
it's
okay.
Good.
Bradford, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying that I know the standards has fallen in the NDC camp, but I expected Brother Rashid to at least lift the bar, as far as the debate is concerned. Can you hear me? Let me call back. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead and speak. Go ahead. Boy, gentleman has a problem. Network issue. You're still with us. Go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
Okay, Rafad. Yes. Brother Rashid mentioned a number of stuff. He made mention that John Mahama did a lot of award-winning projects, and I would like to hear at least two of the so-called award-winning projects that John Mahama did. And then I also want to ask him, Brafad, if you could please write this down. or maybe I can hold on to make sure that he answers properly. The second question is this: what was the interest rate during their time, John Mahama's time? Did you get that? And then he also made mention that they have made some mistakes. I want to ask him, can he kindly tell us what were the mistakes? Because you cannot just tell us that you made mistakes, but you're not telling us what the mistakes were. I'll be interested in knowing what were the mistakes that they made. Okay. And then I also want to say something. You know, Brother Rashid, during his closing remarks, mentioned that John Mahama is one of us. I think that statement is a bit hypocritical, because I do not consider John Mahama as one of us. On what basis are you saying that John Mahama is one of us? Is he one of us on the basis of religion or what? Because
oh boy, we've lost that caller. But Alhaji Rashid, go ahead and answer that question. At least from what you've been able to pick up.
Let me start off with the last one.
Mm-hmm.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is one of us simply because he is a Ghanaian, born and bred in Ghana. So that makes him one of us. We are not talking about anything to do with religion, ethnicity, or race, or anything like that. We do not play the ethnic card like we know other parties do. So that is not the issue, okay? Secondly, okay, he also asked the question about award-winning projects. All he has to do, I'll just give him one, and that one should suffice more than anything else. You know, the Terminal 3 has been voted the best airport. Kutuka International Terminal 3 has been voted the best airport in Africa. Okay. Now, in terms of what it is that, you know, I cannot put my finger on in terms of what the interest rates. But see, bottom line is, what is important is, what good is an interest rate, okay, if the banks, this government, this Nana Akufo Addo government has been able to collapse 9 banks, 347 microfinance banks, after spending 21 billion Ghana cedis. Now comes back asking for another 15.6 billion cedis. We're not even talking about the number of jobs that have been, erased, have been eroded. People who have lost their jobs, both direct and indirect. How can we sit there and then say that this is working for us? This is not working for us. It's a very bad thing that they have done. And what we are saying is that give His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to come back and get a chance to fix these problems. And in fact, one of the problems from what we have seen, the Group Indum Bank, the GN Bank, the Uni Bank, okay, Heritage Bank, all of these banks, it is very well known, vindictive decisions that were made to collapse them, to shut them down, because they are perceived to be against Nana Akufo Addo or against Ken Ofori-Atta. So you know what is going on. The caller can act and say all kinds of things, like, he's being really, straightforward. But the fact of the matter is that when you are here, when you open your eyes, you actually see what is happening. So much so that when you have people insulting us, that those of us who do not see the benefits of what this government is doing, we must be witches or we are liars. When you have a minister coming out to tell you that, Ursula Usu telling you that Anyan or before, because you don't see the benefit. When you have people who are unable to put food on the table, 2.4 million people are in extreme poverty, and then you have the arrogance of people like Ursula Owusu and others, Kenny Japan, coming back to say all kinds of things with impunity. Pius Ahejide, of the visa fraud. Kelly GVG, the Ken Bond,
Thank you.
There's just so many that it's in fact even almost impossible to come up with. But I'm talking about the Bost contaminated fuel, 5 million liters, over and over again. What we see, but guess what? None of this. Nana Akufo Addo has not seen any of this, and he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it, and he remains incorruptible.
Thank you.
And inshallah, what I'm asking people to do is December 7th, 2020, show him the way. Show him that you have seen the corruption. That he's immersed so much in it that he cannot even see it. Tell him and throw him out. That's what we need to do. Thank you
to Alhaji Rashid, Haruna Rashid, the Director for Research, NDC. We appreciate that response. Now we're going back to the NPP representative, who is also Alhaji Maazu Muftau. He's the Director of Communication for NPP New York. Alhaji, take a couple of minutes and say something, because your colleague has responded, but I want you to say something regarding the way he answered that question. Take 2-3 minutes and do that, and let's go back to the phone lines.
Mr. Fawad.
Yes, sir.
I'm deep surprised about the submission of my brother, Alhaji Rashid. A caller from South Africa called him and asked him what was the interest rate. He didn't answer that. Is it that he didn't hear? Should I give him 1 minute to answer that? Who has asked about anything concerning Oslausu? You see how they are beating about the bush. This is a clear-cut diversionary tactics. NDC doesn't have anything to offer to the good people of Ghana. Mr. Fawad, you have created a very nice and durable platform for Alhaji Haruna Rashid to be able to articulate a policy alternative for our Ghanaians. He is just there, jumping from one area to another area. We're talking about prudent national policy that will catapult the NDC into power. Take it from us. They have nothing to offer. You see, when the caller asked him, what does he mean when he said JM is one of us? Look at the answer Alhaji Rashid gave. That he's one of us because he's a Ghanaian. It's an apology of an answer. Let me tell you, and all listeners, by the mere fact that you are a Ghanaian, you are qualified to run for a position. So the issue of JM is one of us is neither here nor there. He has something to say. Alhaji Rashid, be bold enough to say it, and I am going to respond to you in equal measure. Say JM is one of us. What is hidden in your heart? You bring it out. He asks you whether he's one of us based on religion, ethnicity, or political party. You say he's one of us because he's a Ghanaian. The mere fact that an individual is a Ghanaian makes him qualified to run for a position. By this, is Alhaji Rashid trying to give us a logic that Akufo Addo is not a Ghanaian? Mr. Fawad, look at what he's doing. Now, they have asked you, give us interest rate. You couldn't give. I told you, you left an inflation at 15.9%. Today, as we speak, inflation has been reduced to single digits. They have nothing to offer. Having been able to speak English for well over, 30 minutes, with all humility and with all respect, I would like to zangolize the discussion a little bit by switching a little bit to Hausa. Having been able to establish this in English, Dua, Mr. Fawad, na son ka san da zama ba. Kaga party NDC, wallahi tallahi ba su da komai shi yaudara. Alhaji Rashid an tambaye ka ba da an san da ka tambaye ka zo kana cewa JM mutumin mu ne. Me yasa zama mutumin mu domin ya zama mutumin Ghana? O Akufo Addo ba dan Ghana bane ko? Wanda cikin mutanen da suka taimaki suka karbi incin Ghana suka basu in the struggle for independence, 3 prominent of his blood members are within the big 6. Ka ce wannan ba mutumin Ghana ne. Ka ce wannan ba mutumin Ghana bane. Akwai abin da kake so fito da manufan Ghana. Da sun iya mu yi shi daidai. Batun wai mutumin Ghana ne saboda shi ya zama mutumin duka mutane kai mutumin Ghana ne, Fawad mutumin Ghana ne, Ma'azu mutumin Ghana ne, dukkan constitution mu ya bada incin kai dan Ghana ne, kana da abin da ya kamanci ka saya as a president without any blemish, without any what is it, a treasonable records or coup or any other thing. Kai ka saya. So shi Alhaji Rashid ba wannan ake yi ba. Ba ku da mafaka.
Let's go back to Alhaji Rashid.
Yi ma mutanen Ghana wa'azi yanda abin da yasa za a komo da ku.
Okay.
Shi ka zo ka ce wai kun yi kuskure. To mutun ya tambaye ka wani irin kuskure kuka yi Fawad? Ya tambaye ka ba kuskuren da kuka bai ba. Kuskuren da kuka yi ne ba. Kun doki tattalin arzikin Ghana kun sa annun mutanen da wa'anda ba su da ilimin shi. Kun doki Ghana 5 billion Ghana cedis was given to Wyoming. Kuka doki 38 million cedis aka doki aka paint lori ka kawai don ba su na tafiya kawai za a paintin shi. Ayi magana kawai she ta sauka. Cikin tarihin Ghana ba shugaban kasan da aka taba kamu gashi na hannun shi na cikin cin anci da rashuwa she John Dramani Muhammad dan uwanmu. Aka kama shi me ya doki ya baye Mr. Fawad Lori. Lorin da ni da kai da muke na hosiness na zamu mu je mu tuka Ghana. Why is John so low? He has stooped so low to the ordinary, body politics. We don't do things like that. Da muna sama ko wanga dan uwan mun ga. Yayi batun wai kaman John in an kawo shi, he's going to give scholarship to people. Ya gaya muna mutanen da ke kira mutanen mun nan su nawa John Dramani Muhammad ya ba su scholarship ko ta tura ka koyi abu. Ya gaya muna mu jinan ga. Alhaji Rashid don Allah don Annabi in Musa Fawad in za ku kawo mutane.
Alhaji Rashid, go ahead.
Na gode sosai. Kaga farko da ba so mu je ta kan sha'anin zango ba, amma abinda zan ce ma dan uwa Ma'azu, ittaqillah, ka ji tsoron Allah. Wallahi malam ka ji tsoron Allah. Domin kaga irin abin da ake yi, yawancin mutane na iya magana cewa kaman ai siyasa ba addini bane, amma wallahi tallahi ka sa hankali. Karya irin abubuwan da kuke wallafawa wata rana Allah zai tambaye ku. Domin kuna shafa ma mutane daudan da kai kanka ka san kaman ba correct bane. Kan batun motan ga da kake gwadawa kamar ya kaskatar da kanshi. Motan da aka ba da sunan shi aka ba an doki motan kuma ko da rana guda bai taba amfani da motan ba, an je an sa cikin pool, an sa pool of abin ga Ghana a sunan shi ma presidential fleet da ake amfani da. Sannan banda haka nan kana batun wani irin amfani wadanda suka yi da farkon 250 doctors da suka je Cuba, NDC suka yi wannan abin. 250 in ka yi gaddama kuma je ka check ne so ka find out. Ta gane ko. Sannan mu Allah da kanshi Allah da kanshi na faɗi mana cikin Qur'ani cewa kaman tubu ilallahi tawbatan nasuha, cewa kaman mu ɗan uwa mutane muka yi laifi muka yi mistakes mu koma ga Allah the same way mun wani mistake sai mu koma ba mu yi girman kai ba kaman bayan da suke girman kai ba da ake cewa kuma kowane mutum ɗan tare ne. Kai Ma'azu kana zaune ga baka taba wani mistake bane, ko ka fi karfin cewa kaman in ka yi mistake ka zo ka ce ma dan uwa wallahi na yi laifi a gafarta mini. Abinda ake yi kenan, ana neman gafartawa ne ya so kuma ka sani ne Allah da kanshi na cewa kuma cikin Qur'anin nan no cewa kuma ya fi son wa'anda suka tuba suka komo gare shi in the same way. Domin duk wanda ya tuba ya komo gare shi ya san kaman ya yi laifi, ya san irin hanyar da ya kamata ya tattaka in ya so ya gyara abubuwan. In the same way kuma muna neman shi John Dramani Muhammad a bashi hanyar da zai komo in ya so ya gyara hanya. Cewa kaman dan uwa ne mutumin mu ne ba laifi bane. Nana Akufo Addo ya zama gani ne ko mutane guda shida cikin uku cikin mutanen shi ya fi ni zama ganiyan ne wannan bai nuna cewa kamar ya fi wani ganiyan ba ni so na kenan cewa kamar John Dramani Mahama kuma ba ka cikin zuciyana ba ka cikin zuciyana da zaka ce ya kamata in fito da cikin zuciyana in faɗi ba wani abin da ke cikin zuciyana shine soyayyan John Dramani Mahama kuma na yi imani cewa kamar amfanin da zai kawo da zai shafa ma dukanmu especially musulmai da NDC suka kawo Idul Adha Idul Fitr babban masallacin da ake ginawa yanzu hakan ga da John Dramani Mahama ya kama hannun liman ya je da shi Turkey aka samu 'yan Turkey suka zo da kuɗi over $20 million aka zo aka gina wannan masallaci sai wani abu za ku yi muka duba wadanda mutanen gidan da suke batu in ka duba duk a daga cikin gwamnatin Nana Akufo Addo duk yawancin wanda aka kora duka 'yan abin gani ya sunan shi ne 'yan arewa ne dukansu 'yan arewa starting with menene sunanta Otiko Jaba da shi BNI gayen ga dukansu wanda mutane fa su suka kawo muna abin ga ya sunan shi ma koran mutane kakannin shi da babannin shi Nana Akufo Addo shi ya kawo kora cikin garin da so shi malam kada bari mu je kan wani hanyar da ba mu so mu je domin ka sani ne gaskiyar maganar ne wayanga ba su kaunan mu in ba haka nan ba me yasa zaka fidda a very well qualified Boniface Boniface irin mutum mai martaba hakan ga a je a sa shi a dinga office din vice president yanzu ko da aiki ma bai da wani aiki yi mun sani fa office na 3 doors down from him na san shi sosai okay me yasa za it's a demotion cewa kamar an fidda Mustapha Hamid from Minister of Information down to Zongo Minister so shi malam kada bar mu je da maganan wani wurin da bai kamata ba amma gaskiya ne ka sani na sani kuma wani sabo ma kafi ni sani don ba yau ni da kai ke fira ba so shi mun zo ku bari mu gaskiya saboda Allah da Annabi muna siyasa ne amma ya kamata mu kara gaskiya ciki mutanen ga ba sa so mu ba wani amfani suke mana ba in ka je ka duba kuma ka gani lokacin da ake debate ne Idul Fitr da Idul Adha Nana Akufo Addo shine wanda ya tashi ya bar abin ga ya boycott parliament shine wanda ya boycott parliament in ka duba kuma John Dramani Mahama shi waye build abin ga Hajj village waye bude Tamale abin ga airport international airport da aka so mu tafiya har iyayen mu waɗanda ke arewa ba ce sun zo Accra sannan su je Makka ba so shi malam ku bar mu sa hankali cikin maganganun da muke yi kaji akwai abubuwa da yawa mutum da sa hankali ne sannu amma udanga ba shakka ka sani na sani John Dramani Mahama dan uwa ne mutumin mu ne he's one of us and I stand by that statement he's one of us ba wai batun cewa kamar he's a Ghanaian ba kamar kanda Nana Akufo Addo shi fa suna duban kansu yan cebi ne fa wato su sun fi mu a kuma shi da haka ne suke cewa yan kaya ne suke ce musu Mahama suke kiran shi wato mu sauran mu ana duban mu banza cewa kamar second class citizens cewa kamar mu yayan watchmen in ba don wani ba ne Asalaru ta ce wai in ba don wani ba if not for education da mu ya kamata mu zama goat herders abin da ta faɗi kenan ba so guda ba so biyu ba so what are you talking about
wow sauran
what are you talking about
we have 20 minutes to go 20 minutes to get done with this discussion. You know, it has been a very spirited. Yes, go ahead.
Bani minti wurin nan. Wallahi tallahi yau ga ina farha sosai ina murna. I have been able to define the course of this debate. Kaga da na koma zango, she Alhaji kuma ya biyo ni zango. Kana ji ko, your last submission is a clear indication of how tribalistic mutanen zango suke. Alhaji, don shi yau ka gaya min kamar you don't know in administration of politics, yanda ake politics akwai abin da ake kira cabinet reshuffle. Ba ka sani ba. Alhaji, as a research officer, you are not aware that a president has a discretion. Either approve somebody to go here, go here. An yi haka nan ka ko ka kawo shi cikin kabilanci da akidanci na zango. Kana sama inda zaka samu kenan ba. To ni ba kai na ma'azu ba. Wannan son gaya maka ba. Wallahi tallahi, that's what we call cabinet reshuffle. A president has the authority to send anybody where he fit, he can deliver. In kuma kayayyaki akaki wannan ka zo da shi. Ana magana kana batun wai kakannin su suka kori mutan zango. Kaga abin da kuka yin ga kun yi shi bai ci ba. You have not succeeded in this. You haven't succeeded in this. Alhaji Haruna Rashid, let me tell you this thing. From 1969 to 1972 administration of the Progress Party, Buzia policy da ya kawo. Akwai abin da ake kira economic xenophobia.
Let's switch back to the English language
only in Ghana.
For the benefit of all. Go ahead.
Kawai ka tuna yayannin mu sun an koro su Najeriya aka koma da su Ghana. Ka tuna da wannan kora. Kawai ka tuna da wannan kora. Zai magana kai kana nan kana use one archaic politics. Yau ni da kai an kore mu.
Alhaji, can you please switch back to the English language because we have a bunch of listeners and they're trying to get an understanding of what you say.
Did we sack anybody?
Just like
Alhaji, please come on, graduate from this. This is a typical, come on, politics in Gabashi Chiki, Alhaji.
Can you switch back to the English language, please? Because we have a bunch of people. Yeah, go ahead. Switch back to the English language, please. Go ahead.
All right. Alhaji is acutely aware of the fact that we have what we call cabinet reshuffle. So if a president reshuffles somebody, taking him from one ministry to another ministry, doesn't mean that he's injecting issue of tribalism. Oh, Alhaji, why do you have to stoop to this?
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
Man, what sort of politics is that? If today, if an account man had said this, for what? What will be the thinking of people? Alhaji, please, this tribal politics has now helped you today. It is not going to help you tomorrow. It is not going to help you in the next generation. The Zango people are well awakened. They have known very well. But if that is the card you want to play, Babu Ban Kafirin Deke John Dramani Muhammad. He is born to a Muslim mother and father. His brothers are Muslims. But because of a lady, this guy denounced the religion that you and I subscribe to. And we believe that
personal now.
At the day of the resurrection, we are going to be resurrected by this day. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphatically mentioned it in the Holy Book.
Gentlemen, let's try to stay on the topic. Stay on the topic and let's not make it about personal issues. Stay on the topic. Economy, education, healthcare, foreign relations. Let's stick to the topic, please. Stick to the topic. Let me read a comment here, a message. A sister Amansa from London. She said, we have seen a lot of killings going on in Ghana, and we keep hearing the president say justice will be done. And case goes cold. Why do you say NPP is doing better on crime when they don't deliver justice? That question goes to Alhaji Mazu Muftau from Sister Mansa in London. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much, Sister Mensa. I give you greetings from New York here. Sister Mensa, you are acutely aware of the fact that the will of justice grants slowly. So if somebody is arraigned before the court, we don't expect the court to summarily, sit on it within a pace of a year or 6 months. The person is going to court, is going to jail. We don't do that in law. Law has to do with due process. It takes time. This is a fundamental principle of law. Justice grants slowly. It is not me who is saying it. It is everybody. We have cases that were begun under the leadership of Atamis. Up to now, we are still dragging those courts. We have issues that started when within the first year of Akufo Addo. Up to now, they are still pending on the law court. So, Miss Sister Ajua Sister Mensa in London, I can assure you that Adudankwa is aware of what is going on, and we are going to stand on our authority. Nobody is above the law, and we are going to make sure that anybody who is found to have breached the law will be arraigned to face the full force of the law. This is my submission on this.
Thank you. Now we're going to go back to Alhaji Haruna Rashid to also say something regarding this question. Go ahead, Alhaji Haruna Rashid.
Well, the bottom line is this. There's always been a lot of obfuscations and a lot of things that Nana Akufo Addo will come out and say, he was either misled or nothing has happened. But I can tell you, because of what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has done, he was able to fire summarily Hammer because of what the view that she expressed. And as we speak, one of his ministers, Abu Gafeli, is in jail. Okay? That's how strict John Dramani Mahama is. But to this day, after about 150, and I'll be happy to share this with Mr. Fuad, that the list of from day one of all the scandals, not a single person has been found guilty. Not all of them were cleared. So much so that Nana Akufo Addo was given the moniker of clearing agent. That's all he does. He clears his people. He was misled. Somebody said this. No report has been done. Even the Ayahuasca West Oregon, the Short Commission report, after they made their recommendations, and findings. Nana Akufo Addo, where we have a video of a police officer or an operative slapping a sitting minister, member of parliament, still did not do anything to him. And a brother, Chow, has his leg broken because he was shot. For 9 months, he was in 37 hospital. Just recently, he was released. None of that have caught the eyes of Nana Akufo Addo. The Kelly GVT, the Ken bomb, the contaminated fuel, the maritime with 13 air conditioners. And then what do you have now? So far now in Medina, the GRA office, the Ghana Revenue Authority office, is on fire. The one at also the other office that they have at Circle also caught fire. How is that? How is all this happening? Because somebody somewhere is trying to hide things. These people are, big time corrupt individuals. They have been shown over and over again, and there are documented cases. I am not the one saying it. There are documented cases of 150 of them. 150 of them. I'll be more than happy to put it on your website so that people can go back and take a look at it. From day one, on the very first day that Nana Akufo Addo got into office, besides the plagiarism and all of that, I'm speaking here as a citizen, not a spectator. I'm also speaking on behalf of Nanka Bruce, who was a uniformed officer. He was beaten, slapped on the very first day, January 7th, 2017, when he came to office. right there at the Flagstaff House. To this day, nobody has been charged. And I'm also talking about the people who, jumped into Kumasi and released their friends who were in custody. To this day, nothing happened to them but a very little slap on the wrist of 1,800 Ghana cedis each. What are we talking about? Where is the law and order? Where is the respect for law and order? Where is the protect and serve? Where is the human rights? Ahmed Swale was killed as a journalist. A pregnant journalist was beaten up by police officers. So many cases. Nothing has happened to any of these people. Why? Why? And now people can't even talk. They're afraid to even speak. The culture of silence is back in Ghana. I am not saying this, So, Sister Melissa, call your family back in Ghana and ask them if I'm making anything up. This is what is really happening. And that is the reason why Nana Akufo Addo and this gang of 143 ministers must go and then give His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a chance to come back to correct the mistakes, restore the dignity, restore the dignity and make things work for all of us, not just people from Tebi, just for all of us, not just a few of us. That is what we're talking about.
Thank you to the National Researcher for NDC, Alhaji Haruna Rashid. Thank you so much. Let me read one more. I'm going to read one more, and that will be it. We out of time, so one more, and these two gentlemen will deliver their closing remarks. We will make another date with you on Kibla FM. They will be back. So much more to talk about. Corruption, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. So this is just the first round between these two gentlemen. So, yes, from Accra, Ella Frimpong, if all the parties will just build upon what the other party did, then we will see development in Ghana. But the thing is that they don't build upon projects. They want to do their own project. And this takes the nation back. That's from Sister Ella Frimpong. I'll have Alhaji Maazu take this one, the NPP Communication Director in New York, be the first one to respond to that message from that sister. Go ahead. You have 4 minutes to do this.
Which message is that?
The one from the sister from Accra, Ghana.
What is he saying?
Yeah, she said if only the parties can build upon the projects from previous administration, then we will see we will move forward as a nation in Ghana. But the thing is that each party is trying to do their own projects. So say the previous administration built something. They came close to getting the job done. When the new administration comes in, they just sideline those projects. They don't finish it. So according to that lady, it's taking us backwards as a nation in Ghana. What do you have to say? You have 4 minutes to talk about that.
I agree wholeheartedly with my sister from Ghana. On a very important note for and our great listeners, this has been the bane of African politics. It has been the bane of Ghana politics. Projects that were initiated under Nkrumah were abandoned after he was overthrown. The Second Republic came, they initiated policy, it was overthrown. Third Republic under Dr. Hilary Liman, they initiated a policy, it was overthrown. Any change of administration, we try to abandon projects that were initiated by previous administration. So in this regard, I agree wholeheartedly with that sister. If we can sit as a country and then draw what we call a national policy agenda, and then bind all these political parties for issues that need to be tackled whenever they come to power, I think that is going to solve this problem. This issue has nothing to do with NDC, NPP. We are now speaking as people of Ghana, as pure Ghanaians. This thing has been the bane of our politics. I agree with her. It is about time we forget about the fact that JM has started project. Akufo Addo has come. He has to abandon it and continue doing his and stuff like that. But having established this, Mr. Forward, you see, you know what the problem is coming from. Any government that succeeds another government, and he's trying to continue the policy and the program. You know what is often referred? Oh, they don't have a policy of their own. When they came in, they keep on doing, commissioning, and building upon what we have left behind. So that any government is also tempted to abandon that project and then start from. So at the end of his 4 or 8, he will be able to account stewardship to the people of Ghana. This is what is helping us. It is really a problem that ought to be resolved. If we can see the two major political parties, Alhaji Rashid will bring his policy, NPP will also bring their policy. We have a national policy agenda for the country. That becomes, let me give you an example. Look at where they are acting with educational policies of our country. This party will come, introduce 3 years. This party will come, make it 4 years. They will reduce it to, it is helping us. This one, I'm speaking as a Ghanaian. Let's forget about the issue of NDC, NPP here, and then speak on the real issue that my sister has asked us. In fact, it is a bane, it is not helping us. The earlier we migrate from that concept, the better it will be for our posterity.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful response to that question. Now we're going back to the NDC researcher, national researcher for NDC, Alhaji Haruna Rashid. Go ahead, Alhaj.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Ms. Ella Frimpong for her question. Yes, I too agree that there needs to be continuity, because governance is not an event, it's a continuum, and we have to be able to continue good works that were started. But I'll be honest and tell you that talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. If indeed Brother Maazu believes in what is that was coming out of his mouth, he would have told you that his government, that Nana Akufo Addo, has done the wrong thing. Because as we speak right now, Terminal 3 is officially non-commissioned. Why? Because it was, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that completed it. As we speak, University of Ghana Medical Center, the 621-bed hospital, is non-commissioned, okay? Because it was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that completed it. The Susolo Fosala road, okay? They have left it to rot. The Eastern Corridor, many of the roads have been left to rot. Many of the cocoa roads have been left to rot because supposedly they spent $10 million, okay, in doing an audit over the past 3 years. And over that time, the rains have come and they have just spoiled everything. And to this day, they have not been able to charge one contractor or one past minister of any wrongdoing. But they have caused, financial loss to the state because of their negligence. So it is easy to sit here and say, yeah, we should continue with that. But the fact of the matter is, they're talking from both sides of their mouth. Talk is cheap. Let's walk the talk. Let's not just say things for the sake of anything. We are all Ghanaians, yes, but the truth of the matter is that there are so many, activities, so many projects that either, commission in their name and actually even change the name of, the placard that NDC, John Dramani Mahama, had already commissioned. They went back and then changed the commission of the names or they just abandoned it. There's a hospital in Kumewu. You have the chief getting down on his knees, a traditional chief getting down on his knees and begging this government to continue with the work, the hospital in their neighborhood. To this day, nothing has been done. We, the NDC, went back and actually even cut down on weeds that were grown in the hospital. And, so what are we talking about? It's easier to sit back here and say, I'm speaking as a Ghanaian. We're not speaking as Togolese or Germans or Chinese. We're all Ghanaians. But we have to speak the truth. We have to speak the truth. And the truth of the matter is that Nana Akufo Addo is now worth continuing, because he has failed us. He has, caused enormous financial loss to the state, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama must be given a chance. We should give him a chance to come back and correct and continue the things that he has started, so that people, you and I, Ella and everybody else would have the opportunity to have peace and prosperity in the country, not being afraid of some vigilantes, not being afraid of lawless people, not being thrown in their face people with opulence, showing how much money they have or showing power where it lies, that the disrespect and all those kind of things. No, we want to be humble. We want to show the way and then show people that, yes, we have learned our lessons. They are coming back, and we want to do the right thing for all Ghanaians, not just a few. That's the proposition that we put out forward today, so that we can look and consider. And I ask you again, go back and ask yourself, when you are in Ghana, even if you are not in Ghana, ask your family members who are in Ghana, are things better off today? Are they better off today than they were 3 years ago? Ask them, and then look at the majority of Ghanaians. Why are 2.4 million Ghanaians living in extreme poverty?
Thank you.
That cannot be. That's what he told us. What has he done to change that? If it was Chile.
Thank you to the NDC Director of Research, NDC Ghana, National Director when it comes to the research team. The team that's the leader right here. So we say thank you to Alhaji Haruna Rashid, and it has been a very educative discussion, debate. Very, detailed, because they've been able within, that small blocks of time that he had to, make use of the chance to talk about the key issues: economy, education, healthcare, foreign relations. We have so much more coming out for discussion on Kibla FM. Corruption on top of the list. Corruption. So just stay tuned. We're going to be back on Kibla FM and keep engaging. As we headed towards the 2020 election, trust me, you need to keep listening. You need to keep listening, because the two leading parties, NDC and NPP, they need to do justice to the people. Lay out a clear blueprint that they would be using to govern the nation Ghana. So that way, the voters can decide, not just by watching highlights on TV, but actually reading the fine print of what they want to do. That's the catch. You need to read the fine print. And these two gentlemen brought those kind of materials with them today, but they shared just a little bit. So in the upcoming episodes on Kibla FM, the debate is going to just keep getting more interesting. And now we're going to give them 2 minutes each to deliver a closing remarks. And with that, we will say peace to all of our listeners. NPP Communication Director, New York, Alhaji Maazu Muftahu. You're going to take 2 minutes and deliver your closing remarks right now on Kibla FM. Go ahead.
Not a problem, Mr. Fawad. Thank you so much. I thought Mr. Alhaji Haruna Rashid has already given his winding statement. You know why I said this? Because a caller from Ghana, she is so appalling with the current situation that is going on. You've asked a question. We spoke at it on a neutral ground. You want to bring partisan politics into it. So do you want me to also go and tell you projects that were initiated by ex-President Kufuor that a meals came and didn't continue? Is that what we're doing? Come on, Mr. Laji. Please, you are far better than this. She's tired of this NDC NPP acrimony. She wants a solution. You're talking about this. What exactly are you talking about? We have built affordable houses in Kumasi. They've not left rotten. That is not what we are looking for. Speak in a nationalistic tone. Let's forget about this NDC MPP, a corner who is asleep, but she woke up to just ask you why we should continue. You're talking about this, you're talking about that. But well, having established this, he made some factual inaccuracy that I needed to correct here. What did he say? He said Abu Gapele was a minister under John Mahama. Abu Gapele was never a minister. He was rather a CEO of National Youth Association. National Youth Association, that was the CEO who embezzled money, and within a twinkle of he was never in prison within they got him in prison when we even came in, but the case was still going on. So what exactly are you talking about? He talked about the state of insecurity. Let me bring it to the doorstep of Alhaji Haruna. It was under the watch of His Excellency former President John E. Mills of blessed memory, when a DCU of Nkwanta in Volta region was shot dead. Up to now, we've not even heard anything about that. I'm putting it before him. So to keep on saying what he mentioned about the recommendation of a short commission. How many recommendations were given to ex-President Mills, ex-President John Mahama? Have they taken into consideration on that? Haruna Rashid, you are older than me in this country. You've been in America for well over 20 years. You are far, in terms of governance in US, you are far better than me in that regard. But you see, your stupid is too low because you are adopting a populist inferior tactics. To say that if there's a recommendation, every president accept that. I can chronicle to you so many presidents in this country where a funding mission has gone on, but they have never accepted all the recommendation. Is Akufo Addo saying all the commission that they have, he's throwing them into dustbin? No, he accepted part of it and declines part of it. That was the same thing. Brazil commission was set up. John Dramani Mahama accepted part and regretted part. Please do not be selective in your presentation. With this, forward, I thank our listeners and my co-panel, Haruna Rashid. It's been very good having a political banter with you. Very, very unfortunately, Alhaji could not or was not able to protect why we should give another chance to John Dramani Mahama, except to admit before you are huge listeners that you have made some mistakes. You want us to bring you back to do what? To continue create loot and share, to continue the rampant and pungent corruption, to continue inaptitude, technical bankruptcy. We are not going to give you the chance. Everything indicates to the fact that we are winning the election hands down, inshallah. I will end by telling you a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, probably two verses, Kul ya ibadi allazina ashrafu wala anfusukum la taqnatu min rahmatillah inna allaha yaghfiru dhunuba jami'an. And the second one is inna allaha la yughayyiru ma biqaumin hatta yughayyiru ma fi anfusikum. With this, I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much to the NPP Communication Director, New York, Alhaji Maazu Muftau. We say thank you so much. Now we headed back to Alhaji Haruna Rashid. That's the NDC national researcher for the NDC. Alhaji, you take the next 2 to 3 minutes and also deliver a closing remarks, and we'll be back. We're going to be back definitely to continue this wonderful dialogue. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this platform. But before I go into my closing remarks, I want to take this opportunity to translate for the non-Arabic speaking audience about what my good brother Maazu basically talked about. La teknatu min rahmatillah basically means that do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. Yes. We in the NDC, we do not lose hope at all. In fact, we are very, very, very optimistic. In the second ayah that he quoted, basically says that Allah or God will not change the condition of the people unless they stand up to make the change themselves. And that is the reason why I am coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, for you to stand up, be with the NDC, and then change the condition of yourself, the condition of the people of Ghana, by coming to join us in NDC so that we can make the change and to ensure that Nana Akufo Addo and his family and friends, 123 ministers, not to talk about the deputy ministers, not to talk about the technical assistant, not to talk about the personal assistants, all these people, a bloated government, an elephantine-sized government. We do not need that. We do not need that. What we need to do is to create opportunities for the youth. 72% of you registered voters are in the age bracket 18 to 40 years old. These are the group of people that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wants to come back and create opportunities for you. 51% of you are women. These are the people that he wants to come back and help. So I am appealing to you. I am appealing to you to stand up and change the condition that you're in, so Allah can also help you. As the going says, God only helps those who help themselves. And that is kind of like, the translation of the ayah that Maazu talked about. What I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is give NDC another chance, because we believe that we can deliver to you. We have tested Nana Akufo Addo for the past 3 years. When he was coming to power in 2016, what he said was, Somishe. We have tried him for 3 years. He has not been able to deliver. He has not met the key performance indicators. Everything is below expectations. Okay? When you look at the numbers, they just don't make sense. Debt is too high. Performance is too high. It is really bad. His ministers are too high. Everything everything is down in the doldrums. And we cannot, for the sake of you, your children and children's children, we cannot afford to make this mistake again. I know they told a lot of lies and it sounded good, but let's go back. Sankofa, let's go back and then get His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. As the T song goes, okay? Remember the song that talks about, Miyiri that day, Sambe Wame. What we're talking about. Let's go back and bring NDC. Let's do Sankofa. Let's go reach back and bring us back. And then you will see for yourself what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and not just His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, but the team of people that he has around him, myself included, are going to be working hard to make sure that we deliver. We deliver because we have told you that we're going to do this, and we are men of integrity. We have something to show. We have something to prove. Nana Akufo Addo, all he wanted to do was to become a president. He's president. He could care less. But we have something to prove. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has a legacy to build. And that is what we want to come join us. Please, come join us so that we can do this. I know you will. And inshallah, we pray that you will join us so that we can change our condition. So God can help us do this. Thank you very much. And we appreciate your time. And we hope that you join us again next time. Assalamu alaikum and have a good night.
Thank you so much. That was the researcher, national researcher for NDC, Honorable Alhaji Haruna Rashid. I will say thank you so much for your time. My name is Fuad Omar. Website for Kibla FM is www.kiblafm.com. Log on to our website, grab our details, and be a part of our program. So if you have a question, get it ready, because round 2 is about to happen. We're talking next week or so. So stay tuned. We're going to get you all the details so you can be a part of it. Again, log on to our website and access our resources. You can also go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. That way, when we start a program, you're going to get a notification and you become a part of it, because we always want to have you with us. Your observation, your opinions, contributions, it all counts. So just get them coming. Call in. Feel free and do that. Again, my name is Fuad Omar. Until our next presentation, I say peace.